Welcome to Far From Eden. Happy Thursday. Uh, you guys have told me there's another one that I missed, and I didn't watch it yet. I didn't even watch it myself, but apparently 304 math, try not to say the real word too much. The robots are listening. 304 math, if you know, you know, has a video that it's over a week old, and all it says on the thumbnail is dangerous. And I don't know what it's about, but it's a couple of you guys at least wanted me to take a look at it and see. And hopefully I can, add something to what the women folk are thinking, saying, doing. We'll see. So, yeah, he does great analysis. If this is your first time here with me analyzing one of 304 Math's videos, he's amazing. And I've learned a lot about the way men think from watching him. I knew that you guys are very good at organizing, compartmentalizing, and that's the way that you think. But the way it's applied, the way he's applied it to relationships and behavior is very helpful. Particularly, I refer a lot now in many of my videos to the categories men put women into that are sweeper, which is like, meh, you're a mistake, or, you were fun for like one time. And the other one is sleeper, which is like, you're for funsies, maybe more, not sure, but usually you're just for funsies. Recreational use only is something that I've heard you guys use to refer to that type. And then of course there's the keeper category. And so many women these days, it seems, are in the sleeper category. And they don't know it. So anyway, that's fascinating to me. And they hate it, but it's like, well, you know what? You can't force men to, commit. That's just not the way it works. You don't force relationship. Love does not demand its own way. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this dangerous. What so I think is dangerous? Don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat to find out. It's risky to just watch these for the first time with you guys because I might be like, duh, have nothing to say. We'll see. All right. Okay, take it away.
I want to share with you guys how I think men are super dangerous for society. I think they are going to damage so many of us, including just women in general. I feel like they are
wrong. You are dangerous. In fact, you might be the most dangerous thing. Here's why. What she said was, men are dangerous and will hurt women. Now, she doesn't mean all men. She means only the men who she believes to have power over her in her country, presumably the United States from her accent. And we know that she's not talking about all men because she would never say something so unkind about, for example, illegal immigrants who are not dangerous. She can correct me herself if I got that wrong. Here's a map of travel safety by country. See all these different colors? Green is a top score, although that was in 2013. Here's an updated map. Most dangerous countries for women 2024. Darker is safer. United States, doing pretty good. And typically, the men who live in a country tend to protect the women who live in a country from anybody outside the country.
This delusion is strong in the Gen Z chicks, and some millennial chicks are catching on to it because of, honestly, I'm gonna say, exposure to TikTok. It pulls them that way with their feelings. When you're not doing well, this is just a tale as old as time. when you're not doing well yourself, rather than take accountability and say, oh, maybe I have these flaws. Maybe I lack these qualities. Maybe I'm not the most competitive person for the job. Maybe I'm not the most competent. It's much easier to blame someone else for all of your misfortunes or bad luck or whatever it is, anything bad that happens to you. So much easier to blame it on someone else. Then it's not your fault. Then there's nothing to improve. You know, I'm so wonderful. It's all of you that have the problem. And it's blatant. It's blatant to me. It's blatant to the men. To make the man out to be this boogeyman, especially when you live in a country like the United States, which is still a very high trust society. You know, here's the thing I want to say. If men are so dangerous in the United States, why are there women going out alone? Why are there women wearing like small clothing? Because if you lived in a place where you thought that it was that kind of culture of the grape variety, you'd want to cover up, you know, and be that right or wrong. I am of the belief you shouldn't dress skimpy. But if you really thought that this was that sort of a dangerous culture, you wouldn't wear little booty shorts. You wouldn't wear super tight leggings. You wouldn't want that kind of attention of the, we'll say, sensual, to be better for the YouTube robots. You wouldn't want that kind of attention. And you would be too afraid to go out. If you knew the forest was full, we're not going to use bears because, you know, with the bear versus man. But if you knew that a forest was full of rabid wolves, you wouldn't go in there. You certainly wouldn't go by yourself, because you would be like, there is a very real danger. I don't think they can possibly believe what they're saying, because their behavior doesn't show people who are actually afraid of this boogeyman that they describe, right? You've seen the reaction, like there's a video of like a female hiker and she comes across a bear. She's not just like, I'll just change the side of like this path in the forest I'm walking on. No, it's a bear. She backs away and is really afraid. In my man versus bear video, that's what I played at the end. Anyway, they're lying because their behavior does not follow suit. It is a way to blame someone else for your own shortcomings. That's what it is. But also dangerous, because when you have the power of the state behind you, and it happens in marriages too, when the women break it up, they will file for divorce and say, the man left the marriage. It was the man's fault. And then take everything and alienate the children. So I'm going to keep going with Matthew. We're only like a minute in, but yeah, this is good stuff. This needs to be talked about. They learn it in gender studies, and then that gets passed on, and they learn it, you know, on social media. They're not learning it because of any kind of real experience. They will have small experiences and then extrapolate those little tidbits and use it for confirmation bias, even though it's very far away from proving what they're saying. And what I mean by that is, like, if a guy accidentally bumped into her at the grocery store, like, that would become this story where and you're like, I think he just accidentally bumped into you at the grocery store and he's just a person. So let's keep going.
That's how things go. So when she says that men being in power is dangerous, it's not just false, it's anti-true. It's the opposite of true. But she doesn't care about that. She doesn't even believe what she's saying. This is just a power game that she's playing. It's kind of like when women call each other tens, even though they don't believe it. And they're basically saying, oh, you're so beautiful all the way down there. Keep acting like a 10 so you're not competition for me. Men tend to seek power through open, direct competition. They just say, this is the power I have, and then they clash. Women, on the other hand, tend to seek power by playing nice on the outside and being self-protective through strategies like appearing to be a victim.
Absolutely. He is dead on right. He's so right. Look at all these like different lines on the women's side. It's all chaotic. We use manipulation. We lie to ourselves. We lie to each other. And we don't even think of it as lying because it's so, feelings and subjectivity is all mixed in. When you mix it all up like that, the lies don't really seem like lies because they go through all these tunnels and hoops and stuff. And even the women will not see the way that they're lying to themselves. That's not an excuse. That's not okay because you went through several steps to get there. And again, that's not okay. And you probably hurt people along the way when you did that. We do lie to each other, or I don't, but they do, like on the whatever podcast, they lie to each other about, oh, you're a 10, you're a 10. And I've thought this for a while. I don't have a lot of girlfriends. I never really have. Many times when you have a big group of girls, especially younger, the way it was is like, you don't really have friends, you have allies because you expect them to take your side no matter really what. And then you will take their side no matter what. But it's very political. And I don't mean Democrat, Republican. I mean the power, the way that it all goes. It resembles the political system more than what the men do, where it's straightforward, hierarchy based on competency, all the rest of it. By the way, Lola is being naughty. She's my little dog. Lola, you need to stop scratching the rug, please. She does that when she wants attention. And when she distracts me, that is my cue to ask you guys to please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I always forget to say it. I just want to do this part. So yeah, it's all political and it's about, it's not good. I mean, you guys don't want my opinion on what these women need to be doing instead of having all of this. And I would never force anybody, and I don't think the government should force anybody, but I think women are happier, and studies show this, when they have a family. So rather than playing all these different politics and all the rest of it, where that energy would be better served, in my opinion, not wanting to force it on anybody, not wanting to put my opinion on anybody, I think, because doing this by force doesn't work. It wouldn't work. You have to want to. You have to have a servant's heart. And if you don't, you're not going to do this. But I think the energy of all these, figuring out who's above who, and have a bunch of kids and work on teaching them to play together fairly, work together, teaching them that sort of a thing. Then you're managing a whole little herd of humans, and that part of your brain is, stimulated and working. I think that's what it's for. I think this drive for women to it's all complicated. We almost create it, don't we? You guys have seen it, how we sort of create the chaos when we don't have it. What's more chaotic than having, as many babies as God blesses you with, and then raising them, nursing them, teaching them, all of that. That is where all this would be channeled. But again, if you don't want to do that, if that's not your heart's desire, then I don't want you to either. Just want to put that out there. for the YouTube robots and all the feminists that think that someone like me wants to have some form of like Christian Sharia law. That's not how it works. We don't believe that. So, but I do think that women in their 20s would do better to have a bunch of babies to take care of and handle.
Women will often accuse men of hurting them or being about to hurt them so that everybody dog piles on those men and takes their power away, which then becomes her power. And even though this video is terribly low quality, it is also persuasive. It causes people to agree with her, which then leads to a group strategy of women all over the internet agreeing to say that men are bad and dangerous in order to take their power away, despite that they are doing a relatively good job. Persuasion is one of my favorite topics. It's all about using conscious strategies to influence the subconscious, and you can read more about it on Shortform, the sponsor.
He's smooth.
Points and refreshment. New book. Do anything with the link.
And I am so tired of men.
Wow, let's file that in the no one asked folder. Next to astrological signs and pronouns, there's autism and hating men and who you want me to vote for.
That was I love his comebacks to some of these women. Yeah, nobody asked, right? No one asked you, but it's a call for other women to go, oh my gosh, I got hurt too. You don't think those men got hurt? There are men. There are so many men who've been hurt by women, and they don't go out there and try to take your power away. They can't, because the state and media sides with the females. But that is so funny. And nobody asked. So why is she saying it? To further, like I said, validate the fact that she's alone, maybe? The fact that she doesn't have all the things she thinks she should have. It's got to be somebody's fault, right? And so it's a pile on, basically. Her saying, oh, men are this, men are that. It's like, why? Because he didn't want to marry you? Why? Because he said something true? They're allowed. Look, hurting your feelings is not against the law. And humans hurt other humans' feelings, especially when you've got all this promiscuity mixed in, and women want to say that they're just like men and everything. Then why are you got so many hurt feelings? Why are you demanding relationship from the guys that it's clearly it's just a F buddy situation? Sorry for my voice. It's not vocal fry. It's just the MS tiredness affecting voice. Sorry. I can hear it. I'm like, please, it's not vocal fry. Should have said it in the beginning, but apologize for that.
TikTok has a lot of that kind of stuff in it and not a lot else. So why am I making this video if it's not important? Because these things become important when people pay attention to them. And that's what TikTok is. It's an attention ruiner. I got a lot of mileage out of this one. The way it works is that you see something on your phone and it makes you go rawr, because negative emotions make people respond more than positive ones. And then you project the rawr onto whatever thing it is that you think is making you feel that way. And then sometimes you take an action, which is how engagement farming works. It's making people mad enough to go, what can I do about this situation? And
then they file for divorce. I have a story about this. So recently, I have been reluctantly getting on TikTok to find certain types of videos of what I was looking for was videos of women who regret getting divorced, right? So I'm trying to look for these videos so I can put together a compilation for you guys. And what I soon realized, because I don't really look at TikTok ever, it doesn't know what algorithm to use on me. So I became aware that it's trying to figure me out to see what to put in front of my face. And I'm seeing, when I searched for it, I was seeing some, very few, where it's just the women saying it. I saw some reactions, but you know what it started to send me? It started to send me therapists supposedly therapists, who were telling you when is the right time to file for divorce. And it sent me a lot also, and this was really an eye-opener. It sent me a lot of tarot card type things, manifesting type things. That is scary. I have never once searched for anything like that, to look at that or anything like that. And I was looking for regretful divorced women, and it was like, oh, she's looking to see if she'll regret her divorce. And we're going to put all these things in front of you to show you that you shouldn't regret it, that it's better for the kids, that you have the power, and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, exactly what he's saying. If you're you're not happy in your marriage and you're watching TikTok, you're going to start to see some man bad stuff. You're going to start to think, well, yeah, and then you're going to have to blame him for this stuff, project fear onto the man. He's making me feel this. And then the action. And I really think it is. And it sounds weird to me for my generation to be like, it's that darn music, or it's that darn whatever. And I'm starting to think, you know what? Those older people, that might have been the one thing they had right. They didn't do anything about it. But yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff in the music and media and everything. And I wish I'd seen it back then and known to stay away from it. But I can see it now because it's obvious with TikTok. Homath is right on. He's dead on about this. It is almost hypnotic, I think, to the women that are getting on TikTok, and this stuff is getting in front of their faces. And it's just so much better to blame the man for all the things. And so then if you're a little bit hurt by a situation, it like pours fertilizer on it and makes it grow inside of you, and yeah, the eyebrows are really good there. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me. The eyebrows are really good because yeah, this is exactly what's happening.
You either might leave a comment or, in her case, make another video that says, man bad. And of course, at no point does she question whether this fits into the world that she wants to create or whether this is the right thing to do. So what else is in here?
I have a message that I want to share with you guys. I want to share with you guys how I think men are super dangerous for society. I think they are going to damage so many of us, including just women in general.
So I put those in feelings and opinions. Men are dangerous and men will hurt women. Now, those might sound like objective claims because it is a fact that some men are dangerous and hurt a lot of things all the time. And it's a statistical certainty that some men will at some point in the future hurt some women. But the reason it's not a fact or an objective claim, what you said, is because there's just no details, like how many men do we need to worry about? What percentage of the set of men are dangerous? Is it different from population to population? Are there different kinds of men that are more or less dangerous that we need to worry about? What about compared to women? What about the damage that women do? Because remember, you're doing damage right now by spreading bad attitudes.
Yes. What about the damage that women do? People cause damage. Criminals hurt people. Because there is a subset of bad men and bad women who will hurt men and women. This is not man bad, woman good. They keep propagating man bad, woman good, man bad, woman good. We are not sugar and spice and all things nice. Nobody is. Nobody is. And this is where you get the simps from, thinking that we're sugar and spice and all things nice and always sort of attributing good intentions to females. That is not the case. There are bad ones of us. There's a lot of us. And a big reason why there's a lot of bad ones is because it's been incentivized. It's been celebrated. So yeah, exactly right. I was watching a clip from the whatever podcast again, and this woman literally said, and I might react to that one too, because I was just like, this woman said that 80% of men, if they had the chance, would assault a woman. They were doing the man bear thing. 80%. Then Brian started giving her some numbers and she backed down to 40%. It's like they have no idea. First of all, I don't think they understand numbers that well. Second of all, they have no idea what the statistics are. They have been brainwashed to think this. Absolutely brainwashed. And they don't see how, and people have ruined this word, but it is truly hateful against men. And there are so many good men. And her saying that that's dangerous for society. Lady, do you want your trash picked up? Do you want your lights to turn on? Do you want water to come out of the faucet? Do you want to be able to flush the toilet? Destroying men is dangerous for society. That's what's dangerous for society. Destroying them, disenfranchising them, giving them no reason to want to get up in the morning because they're unappreciated. Nobody wants them. You know, this whole nihilistic attitude. Pretty soon, you know, the trash isn't going to get picked up. The lights aren't going to come on. Because why? They do it because they're good. The men do. They do it because they're good. And because they have, because they're like, well, it's the right thing to do. It's my duty. They have a sense of duty. They show up for the hard jobs. Roofing, oil rig, underwater welder. My goodness gracious, that's a job I learned about recently. That I was like, oh my, of course there has to be, but goodness gracious, could you imagine? Underwater welding? Lady, it's dangerous to criticize men like this. Because you don't want them to give up and have no purpose. That is what is dangerous. Boy.
On the internet that make women lash out at men, and then that hurts men, and then that makes them lash out. And, you know, what about quantifying it? Is the damage that men do going up or down? Or you didn't really include any of this. You just sort of said, you know, man bad. Got any more feelings?
I feel like they are not supportive of women's rights and who we are.
Okay, similarly, no evidence for this one. She even keeps saying I feel, which is helpful. I'm just gonna put this here in case she says a fact at some point.
She said, for women, who we are and our rights. Who we are. What does that even mean? Secondly, our rights. What rights? The rights to, I'm thinking of euphemism, sorry. The rights to cause the cease of living to any offspring that may be living inside of you. That's what you want? The right to your baby? Okay, well, you know what? You have that right. And it varies from state to state. What else? Men have to sign up for selective service. Women don't have to do that. What rights? What rights? They can never answer that question because there is nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing that a man can do that a woman cannot do as far as rights go. Goodness gracious. Yeah, definitions, examples, exactly. What are those? We have all the feelings. That's all we need. Feelings. I'm getting so mad.
She's not even defining what women's rights are or giving examples of supporting who they are, whatever that means.
I feel like they are taking over our country and it's a men's world right now.
Whoa, that's a pretty wacky one. They are taking over our country?
Wait a minute. Who's they? I mean, somebody is taking over the country. And you're really dumb to criticize the ones who would stand against it. Because the ones who are taking over, they're going to turn the safe color of the United States on the chart to whatever's more dangerous. That's what's going to happen. Have you seen Europe? Have you seen what's going on in England? It's quite clear. And that's all I'll say about that. But you guys know what I mean. One of these days when I have more energy, I'm going to make more videos exclusively for Rumble and Locals to discuss all this freely.
Am I a they? Am I invading America right now? That would be so embarrassing. Let's just put a they over there. And then she says that it's a men's world right now. And I gotta say, as long as we're doing feelings, it doesn't feel like it is. This went viral recently. I sent 100 applications as a man and a woman. It's much better being a woman. And that's not exactly science, but it is a lot closer than anything you said. So apparently, this guy works in computer science, and he took his CV and changed the name to a female name. And then he applied to jobs with his real name, waited a while, and applied with the female name. Out of 100 applications, his male name got 7 responses, and out of 100 applications, his female name got 45. That's 650% more likely. He even tried looking for working class jobs, and he got almost 9 times more responses. And this is more than 4 years old, and things have gotten worse. So since we're doing feelings,
Wow.
you started it, that feels like the last 20 years of my life. And some people might argue that the kind of job you can get is the primary determinant of how much of the world is yours. I checked around, and other men feel it too. They feel being very much not in control. About this many in less than
Wow.
a year, and these on Instagram. This actually took 2 weeks. So do our feelings matter or just yours?
Exactly. Just theirs. Because to them, you are not. You are sub. That's the they versus us. She revealed it when she said they are taking over our country when she referred to our men. It shows everything about what her mind is. Men are subhuman. Their feelings don't matter. Do they even have feelings? How legit? That is, it's infuriating. And it is true that, yeah, women are getting hired more. And I can hear the feminists now. Well, maybe they weren't qualified. You think that's it? Because have you experienced the way things are running now? It's not smooth. It's not smooth. It's subtle. But particularly cities are not doing better. And it isn't because it's a man's world right now. Females have way more power. They have been propped up more and more and more over the last several decades based on the lie that they're so oppressed and that men are so dangerous. It has propped women up and given them this insane power to the point where she thinks she can get on here and say things with no facts, nothing to back it up, no examples, no details. And it's just, it feels like, and I want to say, sweetie, okay, do we need to talk about your dad or do we need to talk about whoever alpha widowed you? Because that's what it seems like. I feel like we need to talk about her father, her impression of her father, because it may not be who her father really was. It's whatever her mother told her about her father. And I feel like we need to talk about if she's alpha widowed, if she's going after men that are out of her league. What's made you feel? What's really behind these feelings, miss? If you're going to come on here, sorry, flies got in here. A fly got in here. If you're going to talk about all this, if you're going to speak so hatefully against men, I think I can say, I feel like you've got some daddy issues. I feel like You're frustrated because you can't get the guys that you want. I feel like maybe you're incompetent for the jobs, and that's why you're not advancing or getting them or whatever it is. I feel we can all do it.
Not that we need feelings when there are national hiring experiments that reveal a 2-to-1 preference for women.
Yeah.
And here's a diversity study from LinkedIn saying that women are 16% more likely than men to get hired after applying to a job. 18% if it's a senior role. Doesn't feel like a man's world to me. What else you got?
And I do not feel like men should be in control. I feel like the reason why we're in so many issues right now is because men have been in control.
So then issues come from men being in control. Okay, so according to you, let's fit that in here, according to feminism in general, men have been in control since the beginning of time, and they have been oppressive to everyone. And only recently, women have gotten freedom, and everything is going to get better forever. It's not true, it's a lie. Reality is a lot more complicated, but that is what all feminists say all the time. So if men have been in control since caveman times, here's another stupid fantasy about women hunting woolly mammoths from this piece of shit. And then we started gradually living in tents and then castles and then apartments. And now the world looks like this. Then where did all this stuff come from?
Men. It all came from men. These buildings, this comfort, this chair that I sit in every day that's comfortable, that has a lever where you can put your feet up. A woman didn't invent that. I don't know that, but I'm going out on a limb. And all of this, exactly what he is saying. Where did it come from? How did we get to castles? How did we get from tents? Who built those tents? Who built those castles? Who built those? You know what I mean? It's been men. Have there been bad men? Yeah, there were bad men back then with the castles, and we all knew it. There were some bad women too. We all knew it, and we took care of it one way or another. We didn't blame all the good guys. It's ridiculous, and it is. Well, why is it happening? People, the media, and I don't just mean MSNBC. I mean all of it. Pop music, country music, all the music you hear on the radio, propaganda. Commercials you see, propaganda. Commercials on TV, regular TV, propaganda. It's always propaganda. Even if they want to sell you, Tide laundry detergent, there's going to be propaganda in that commercial. And then now you have TikTok and all the social media. It's all slanted to push a certain agenda. And when they give females more power, they get leftist policies because you have this misguided compassion. Oh, those poor people. And you get them to blame the good guys who are basically saying we need to have, a fortress of some type to keep out the bad guys. Women are like, no, we have to save everyone. Well, okay, you're going to save a lot of bad guys too. So you're disenfranchising the good guys and you're empowering and raising up the bad guys. How do you think that's going to go? That's not going to go well. Because to maintain everything that the men have built, as Homath is saying, you still need the men. You still need the types of men who created it in the first place. And that is exactly who is being vilified, is those men. They're being vilified. So this stuff is going to crumble. It's going to start to crumble. And it is.
Didn't it happen when men were in control? Have you ever been up the Space Needle? It's pretty cool. It's the opposite of having issues. So what are you even talking about? You've got no facts and you can't even get your feelings straight. We're taking over, but we already took over, and it was bad before, but it's bad now, even though it's good now.
Have you ever talked to a 4-year-old? Have you ever heard them tell you a story? It goes every which way. just doesn't really connect in places, and it's just kind of everywhere because they're 4 years old. Is there a similarity here? Because I think I see one.
Because you're getting freedom, but you don't have freedom because it's our world, even though you have all the advantages. This is all, crap. This is babbling idiocy. So why am I talking about it? Because the fact that it's stupid doesn't mean that it's not popular. That did better than it should have. Look at this crap. Can you imagine? Over here is a girl celebrating being mean to a guy who's good to her. 4.8 million. Absolute brain rot. This is the quality of what most people send me on TikTok. That one looks pretty good. I can kind of tell from looking by now. So there's a lot of low quality content getting pumped out really fast, and a lot of it is persuasive. Here's Win Bigley again on short form. The basics are that we all think we're enlightened, and people who disagree with us just need better facts. But in reality, we make decisions first, more irrationally than we realize, and then we rationalize them later. So here are some objective claims for you. I put them in blue for boys. Low quality content is more popular than ever, and feelings are persuasive. They change people's minds. So that means that content like this, me giving my boyfriend a cruel attitude when he treats me like a princess, look at her go, uses feelings to convince people of horse shit like this and this. Combine that with scrolling through TikTok, and your brain just doesn't have time to think about things on a rational level. You're just going feeling swipe, feeling swipe. You're having reflexes and impulses, and like it or not, those are programming you. And they are having this effect on the world. They see the video, it gives them a feeling, they project it onto the world, and they have a reaction. Some of the reactions are to make more videos, which
Yeah.
then are seen by more people, causing more feelings, more projections, and more reactions, some of which are videos. And they are full of ass backwards, opposite from the truth lies like these. And that's one of the primary ways that women get power, by making shit up while looking nice on the outside. And that's what is actually dangerous. You are telling harmful lies to convince mass numbers of women and weak and fearful men and other Democrats of the direct opposite of the truth, which might have something to do with this. Among young Americans aged 18 to 29, the men are maintaining a stable political orientation, while the women are getting more liberal, which often looks like this. Man bad is just a part of the Democratic platform at this point, and that's despite the fact that man obviously not bad. Man doing a pretty good job compared to some places.
I do not think men should continue to be in control of anything. I think men being in control of our country and the system is very dangerous for our country and the system moving forward. So I will continue to keep speaking. I will continue to keep sharing messages.
Please don't. Please stop sharing.
What did you even share? You didn't say anything. That's the thing. It's this look, and it happens all the time. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go forward unburdened by what has been. That's nothing. It's saying nothing. It's feelings, 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 and it's saying nothing. And he's right. It only affects it's women and weak men. And there are some women that can see through it. There are some, not as many, because it works for them. They get to be the victim, and there's some sort of power in victimhood to them. Like, how are you strong and independent and just as capable? And yet you're like, oh, it's a man's world and I just can't. Why not? I thought you were just as good and just as capable and all the rest of it. You're not. And I lived through the 90s. I remember what the 90s were like, and I'm alive now. And as women have, and I'm not saying it's a causation, this is a correlation. It's an interesting correlation. As women have gained more power with voice and being loud and this, the quality of life in our country has gone down. Immigration has changed a lot in the last several years. And it can only do that with the power of the female vote. It's the only way. Because they have to prove how good they are. Look how good I am. I vote for these, all these poor people. They have to. They have to say, oh, these people are oppressed and these people deserve, because I think they think it validates their own. That's why with feminism, it attaches to all these other causes. Early on, early feminism attached itself to the abolitionists. The abolition of slavery was attached to, freeing women from some other type of slavery, whatever, the slavery of being cared for and able to stay home with your babies and teach them and love them and all of that. Jeez. And I know there are women right now that are programmed to say, but some women don't want to do that. And some women, the only reason you think you don't want to do that is because you've been brainwashed against your own biology, against the way you were made and what you were made for. And that is scandalous talk to say that women are made to produce babies. Do we not have a uterus? Is that not a womb? Yes. We have the anatomy to make children. And even if you're an atheist, the species to continue must make more of itself. Taking birth control and having life-ending procedures is counterintuitive to the betterment of a species. They really have, convinced people that that the female's gonna serve the world better as some executive, as some computer programmer. You're not. I don't care what you create. It's not going to be more important than creating new people and raising them up in the way they should go. There's nothing more important than that. It's not the hardest job in the world, as people want to say, but it is a crucial job. And if you disagree with that, again, open your eyeballs and look around. We didn't used to wear pajama pants out in public. We didn't used to have man buns. Kids used to have to get their hair cut. You remember? It was like, oh my, we got to get your hair cut. You're getting shaggy, son. Now it's just like, oh, he doesn't want to. He wants to wear a tutu. No, son. We used to have more structure. And that's the man's way. And it turns out when you get rid of all the structure and all the boundaries, things get really mixed up and it's not better. It's not better. Lola, please like the video. I remind you again because Lola's distracting me again. She wants to go and mess up the unicorn. That's one of her favorite things. She knows that'll get my attention if she starts. She stopped. She's like, never mind. Mom can see me. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's continue. We're almost at the end of this. This is a fantastic video. He is right. And this is, I think, the furthest I've seen him go as far as what he's saying. And the seriousness of the matter, because it does extend past dating. You see all this in the dating everything, but it's more than that. It's all of society. And MGTOW's part of that. MGTOW isn't just walking away from dating, walking away from marriage. It is saying, I'm not going to play anymore because you're cheating. I'm drawing back. And in doing that, I'm going to make myself small so I'm not a target. I have no need to get all this money for you women or to pay taxes, which will go primarily to single mothers. They take up so much of the taxes. Or war that you might be conscripted in. So you're like, you know what? I don't need all that. I'd rather just live cheap, get the things I like. And so it's more than just pulling away from dating in society. It's pulling away from this machine that is fueled by feminism And that's why feminism was created in the first place. It was not a ground swelling, grassroots movement. It was a very small portion of women who wanted to do this, and weak men who forced it on society, and not just here, obviously in England and the entire West. So it's just, at what point is it going to be obvious enough that this doesn't work? Men are so bad and they're in control. And if women were in control, everything would be great. Everything would be sunshine and roses. It's not sunshine and roses. You didn't build this. We didn't build this. We can't maintain this. And the thing is, at what point will it be just so glaringly obvious to everybody? Probably when it's too late. Like, wake up. Wake up, simps. Stop enabling this. Stop enabling this whole system. Simps. It's even if it did get you, the funsies, which it's not going to, is it worth all of this? Good gracious. And how long are the good men going to remain good? As far as, well, look what's going on in England. Look at what's going on in England. There is a breaking point. There's a breaking point.
And if not for me, then at least do it for the Peace and Security Index.
Yeah. Oh, we were so close to being
I
done.
want to share with you guys how I think men are
Not you again, lady. We've already heard all your feelings. We've heard all your feelings, and you have been found wanting. You have no facts. They have no facts. Oh, who cares about facts, right? My feelings. Stop validating all the feelings. And this happened, I remember I was already raised, but the kids right behind me, millennials, they were getting their feelings validated right and left. And especially now, it's like, how do you feel? How do you feel? And like, okay, that's yes, no, sometimes no, a lot of times no, when it comes to feelings. You don't want to just unleash somebody's feelings on everything. You're going to make them, that is a miserable way to live, because you're just a slave to your own feelings. You have to realize that you can control them and that you are responsible for them, and nobody else is responsible for your feelings. That is one of the best things I learned through the whole getting red-pilled experience. And now I know that means something different than it did when I was getting red-pilled. But red-pill just meant awake to the knowledge, to what's going on. It didn't mean promiscuity and all. It didn't mean that. It didn't mean an absence of Christianity. It just was, I'm awake. But anyway, so yeah, that's one of the first things I had to learn. It's like, wow, yeah, I am really driven by my feelings so much. Then it's not served me well at all. So I had to figure out, why is that, and to get past it, and to say, if I had just realized, oh, it's my choice to feel any which way. I mean, it takes a lot of self-control, especially when you haven't been taught properly to regulate your emotions. Guess what? Guess who does that in the family unit? The father. Makes sense, right? The mother can do it somewhat, but the father helps, especially when the children get older. Regulate your feelings. I remember my father trying to do that for me. And I think that's a reason it was easier and possible for me to grab onto it after, when I was getting red-pilled. I like to realize, like, oh yeah, that rings true. I see that now. So stop being led by your emotions and stop thinking it's anybody else's fault or responsibility. I see a lot of mothers putting that responsibility on the children because they get upset. Yeah, you get upset, but you have to try to realize that don't try to guilt your children into doing things, and don't try to make them like think, oh, mom's going to freak out. No, that's just manipulation. And women do it. I see it. And simps are very, very, oh gosh, they hate it when women, start to cry or throw a fit in any way. It's just like a child. It's when a child throws a tantrum and then the parents back down or bribe the kid or whatever. It's like, God, that's the worst thing you can do. And this is just a continuation of that. And that's why you have, these are my feelings and I feel this and I feel that. And it's if we're supposed to listen to that and validate that and say, oh, it's definitely real because you feel that it is. And I'll tell you what, a lot of therapists just validate. They don't tell you otherwise. And that's why I won't go anymore, because I'm like, this is not helpful to me. I need to be accountable. And having therapists that just want to sort of dig things up and almost validate me manipulating myself, that's not okay. And so that's how we're here. And I think the MGTOW thing is a great reaction to all of it. Because it's like, okay, the good guys are going on strike. You're not going to like it. So I know a lot of you guys are good guys. And I am thankful for you. And I hope that you have fed your soul today. I hope you're protecting your peace, especially from these monsters. I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.